Jai Shri Ram, I am Kripashankar here, and this is a list of GRE words which I have collected from various sources, and I believe that it will help you if you are preparing for the GRE. So let's start straight away. The recording may not be so very professional because I am not a professional photographer, but what you can do is probably take a screenshot and then magnify it while you start preparing and listening to my talk. These are all very important words which you must know if you are preparing for the GRE. So I'll be compiling similar such lists and posting. The first one, windfall. Now this word windfall basically means sudden good fortune. Telugulo sudden ga niko lottery taglindanko 10 kotla lottery. That's a windfall. So अगर आपको एक लॉटरी लग गया 10 करोड़ का, वो है विंडफॉल. अगर आपको याद करना है तो आप ऐसा कर सकते हैं, एक निमोनिक बनाओ इसका. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, सिंपल निमोनिक कैन बी windfall. That means imagine you are taking a walk in the park and suddenly there is a strong wind, a gust, G-U-S-T. Now when this gust is there, all the leaves of the trees are falling, and imagine that the leaves are getting transformed into $100 bills, and these bills are rushing into your pant pocket and shirt pocket and into your shirt and pant also. Wow, that will be wonderful. Very soon you will become a billionaire. That's a windfall. Now I just created a surreal picture for you. Surreal. Of course that word is not there, but you make a note. S-U-R-R-E-A-L. Surreal means like a dream. Phantasmagoria is a synonym for that. P-H-A-N-T-A-S-M-A-G-O-R-I-A. Phantasmagoria means a dream-like sequence, hallucinatory dream-like sequence. So why do we fail to remember words? Well, the answer is we don't use these words, and the other thing is we don't make mnemonics. You can make mnemonics. M-N-E-M-O-N-I-C. Mnemonic means a memory device. So if you can create memory devices, you should be able to remember words, or you start using them. Let's go to the next word, privileged. Privileged means enjoying a special advantage. Enjoying a special advantage. Dogmatism, extremely rigid. Dogma means something that cannot be proved. Religion is full of dogma. Now, dogma is a negative word with a negative connotation, but not all dogmas are bad, okay? Though the word dogma has a negative connotation. For example, if there is a dogma, in Hinduism we have this dogma that karma will catch up. That means if you do good, you will get good, and if you do bad, you will get bad. But unfortunately, this is a good dogma. We also have this dogma that the whole mankind is one extended family, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So in Hinduism we believe that we shouldn't harm anybody, either physically, mentally, or even with our thoughts also. So that's a very wonderful dogma that is conducive to world welfare. But if you have a dogma that you have to convert the other fellow, the infidel has to be either proselytized or killed. Now that's a dangerous dogma that will lead to terrorism. Proselytize, make a note. P-R-O-S-E-L-Y-T-I-Z-E. Proselytize means to convert to another religion. A person who has been converted is called a proselyte. P-R-O-S-E-L-Y-T-E. Proselyte means one who has been converted. Now, dogmatism means being very rigid and insisting that what one says or does or thinks or whatever is there in one's holy book is the ultimate word. There can't be something else. Doctrinaire is the synonym. So, dogmatism is bad. Science does not depend on dogmas. Science is based on facts. But in fact, science itself, you see, if you go deeper into science, science is dogmatic in the sense that scientists believe that there is only one way in which you can acquire knowledge, and that is through experimentation. As if there cannot be other ways in which you can get knowledge. Now the next word we are looking at is oblique. Oblique means indirect. Oblique means indirect. Entailed. Entailed means involved. For example, success entails hard work. Success entails hard work. Entail means to involve. Formidable means highly feared and respected. highly feared and respected. Redoubtable is a synonym for that. Redoubtable. Redoubtable is a synonym for formidable, which means highly feared and respected. Awesome is a word that comes close to these two words. Awesome, AWESOME, which you are very familiar with. Awesome is a word which actually involves a sense of wonder, fear and respect. But unfortunately, awesome is being abused to such an extent that awesome has lost its awesomeness, and therefore I prefer to use another word which goes like this. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Please make a note. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, which is an interesting word that it is actually a portmanteau word, Portmanteau. Portmanteau means a combination. A word that is created by combining several words is called a portmanteau word. Now, this word occurs in the Hollywood movie Mary Poppins also. There is a song. This word actually means a word to use when you are not sure what to say. That means something is so awesome that awesome fails to capture its awesomeness, so you use this word. That's a wonderful word. Cali means beautiful anyway. Super beautiful. Supercali. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. So I use this word whenever I want to use awesome. I prefer this word because awesome has lost its awesomeness. Okay, presumptuous is the next word. Presumptuous means taking too much for granted. A person who is highly entitled, thinks too much of himself, behaves like a VVIP. That is presumptuous. Very arrogant and having a very high sense of self-worth, taking too much for granted. There are many people who are very presumptuous and very annoying. Undermine means weaken. Weaken. Imperative means an order. Imperative sentence. Stand up. Imperative also means something that is obligatory. That means dharma. It is your dharma. That means you are bound. Obligation. The word obligation means you are morally bound by something. So if I take a favor from you, I am bound to return a favor. That's an obligation. So it is imperative to respect our parents. It is imperative to stand up and salute the national flag when you are singing the national anthem. It's imperative. So that means a moral duty. The word imperative also means an order, a command. Now, counterproductive is the next word, which means something that produces the exact opposite effect. Rancor, R-A-N-C-O-R. Rancor means bitterness. Telugulo kaksha, ill will. Man mein ghusa, something like that. Rancor, ill will, wishing harm, malice. Abet. To abet means to assist in a crime usually. The word abet has a negative connotation. To abet and aid and abet. So that means to assist. Protean, multi-talented, versatile. Protean. A protean genius, versatile, multi-talented. V-E-R-S-A-T-I-L-A. Jejune is the next word. Jejune means tasteless, bland, insipid, vapid, pedestrian, prosaic, something that is unimaginative. It can also mean something barren, something immature, juvenile, puerile, infantile. It's a strong negative word. That means something that lacks substance, is bland and tasteless. Queried, that means questioned. Riven by. Rive means to rent asunder. R-E-N-T, rent. Rent means to tear into two. Rent, rend, riven. So riven is a irregular verb. To rent the opposition. He rend the bowling apart. He rent the bowling apart. That means he tore apart. Riven means split. So riven by schisms. Riven by differences. Split into. Polarized sort of. Limpid. Limpid means very clear. Scalable. That means it can be increased or reduced in size. Buttressed by. Supported by, strengthened by. I hope you are making a note. Expeditious, speeded up, speeded up. Expeditious means speedy. Anticipate. Now this looks like a harmless ordinary word. One meaning you already know. Anticipate means expect. Anticipate actually means to be first in achieving something. The Rig Veda anticipates gravitation and the laws of gravitation thousands of years before Newton came up with them. So anticipate means be first in achieving or accomplishing something. The next word in that line is peripatetic. Peripatetic means walking around or wandering, itinerant, itinerant, itinerant preacher. That means one who is going around. Parivrajaka in Sanskrit. Parivrajaka. Vivekananda was a parivrajaka. That means he walked the entire length of the country. So peripatetic lecturer, that means your teacher or lecturer could be pacing up and down in the lecture hall while delivering a talk. That is peripatetic. Peripatetic. So it's not pathetic anyway. Pathetic means sad or very bad. Rigorous means strict standards, following very strict standards. Anyway, rigorous means severe. Rigorous imprisonment involves strict punishments. Rigor is a word which has many meanings. Rigor mortis is the stiffness found in a dead body. Rigors of competition today, that means severe competition. Scientific rigor means evidence. Intellectual rigor means consistency. Rigor in the classroom, that means interaction between the lecturer and the student. So please make an effort to remember this word rigor. So now rebuff, reject, disprove or reject with a counter evidence. Hermetic containers, sealed. Hermetic means sealed. Sealed, isolated. Celerity, speed, alacrity is a synonym. Tenuous argument. Tenuous means very weak and flimsy, or not substantiated with any evidence. A substance can be tenuous, an argument can also be tenuous. Harrowing time, very horrible, scary, difficult. Maudlin. Maudlin means easily moved to tears, melodramatic, mushy, M-U-S-H-Y, mawkish, M-A-W-K-I-S-H, easily moved to tears, very sentimental, melodramatic. You see, TV soap operas are there, full of melodramas. The word melodrama basically has a negative connotation. Melodramas have a very simple plot. There is a villain who is very bad, who epitomizes all vices, and a hero who epitomizes all virtues. Epitome means a person who personifies, embodies, who represents an abstract quality. So melodramas have a simple plot. The villain, the comedian, you can quickly identify the comedian, you can quickly identify the character actor, you can quickly identify the hero who's an epitome of virtues, and melodramas also follow a very simple plot, and you know that the villain will be thrashed or beaten or killed in the end, and everyone is very happy. So melodramas on TV channel, they are called soap operas. These are so what's important about melodrama? Well, the word basically means it also means overaction. Suppose I say I am sick of your melodrama. That means I'm fed up with your overaction. So you are hamming. H-A-M. Ham means an actor who overacts anyway. So melodrama, important word. So melodrama, you can quickly identify the characters, and you can actually, life is not like a melodrama, right? Mahabharata and Ramayana are not melodramas at all. Okay. Now, maudlin is over. Contingency. The word contingency means unforeseen situation. Contingency plan means that means you are keeping an algorithm ready. What if? That means if this comes up, I'll use this plan. If that comes up, I'll have another plan. So that is called a contingency plan. A backup plan when an unforeseen situation turns up. So that is called contingency. Contingency means unpredicted, unforeseen situation. Partisan, supporting a particular group and showing partiality and loyalty to a particular group. The opposite of partisan should be international, right? Cosmopolitan, liberal. Paradigm means a pattern or a model. Paradigmatic means a perfect pattern. Now look at this word coherence. Cohere means to come together, but coherence means something that makes logical sense. A coherent argument is something that flows logically. It is not illogical. If all A's are B and all B's are C, the logical deduction is all A's are C. That is a coherent argument. So remember, coherent means something that is logically sound. Inexorable is the next word. Inexorable means unstoppable, like a juggernaut. Juggernaut. Juggernaut means any unstoppable crushing force. For example, Virat Kohli, if he is in a flow, he is like a juggernaut. Remember that Pakistan T20 match, he was like a juggernaut. He literally crushed them. So inexorable means unstoppable, like a juggernaut. The word juggernaut basically is drawn from the Hindu deity Krishna. In Puri it is called Jagannath. These Britishers promoted an atrocity literature. Atrocity literature basically means, atrocity means a crime. Atrocity literature means all the nonsense that these invaders, these colonizers tried to create stories to run down Hinduism, ridicule Hinduism. That, you know, when the Ratha is pulled, Hindus superstitiously believe that if they fall under the wheels and die, they will get a direct ticket to heaven. There is no such belief system in Hinduism. Never was there any such incident in history, but these scoundrels promoted the story and the word juggernaut came into existence. So juggernaut today anyway does not have that negative connotation, though the story has this disgusting hatred towards Hinduism promoted by these colonizers. So juggernaut means an unstoppable crushing force which will crush anything in its path. It is not stoppable. Corset. To corset means to pamper. Fawning. Fawning means behaving like a slave, very servile behavior, slavish behavior. Antidote is a remedy for a poison. Deleterious means extremely harmful, extremely dangerous. I have to speed up because, you know, otherwise the video will become too long. So seminal is the next word. If you look at that line, seminal or seminal means a source. The Vedas are the seminal scriptures of the Hindus. So derivative is the opposite. Seminal, the opposite is derived, seminal or seminal. Seminal means source, the origin. The opposite is derived, derivative. Risible, laughable. Risible means tending to cause laughter, something humorous. Droll, D-R-O-L-L, droll. Lambasted, criticize severely. Lambast means to criticize severely or literally beat with a stick. To badger somebody. Badger means to harass, harassing. Actually, badger, as you know, is an animal which is known for its tenacity. Once it starts attacking, it will not stop. So that is how the word badgering. Badgering means harassing somebody. Now the next word, arcane. Arcane means esoteric, occult, OCC, highly specialized secret knowledge which is known only to the initiate. INITIAT. An initiate means a person who is trained in the secret knowledge. I am an initiate of Ramdev Baba. That means I am trained in Yoga Sutras and Kundalini Yoga and all that. So arcane can be used to mean something that's very difficult to understand, highly specialized knowledge. Of course, the word carries a negative connotation. Recapitulate, summarize. Capitulate means to surrender. The Indian batting capitulated. That means the batting collapsed. Recap or recapitulate means to summarize the main points. Droll means amusing, funny. We came across risible earlier. Integrity, moral stature. Integrity means honesty, morally upright. Integrity also means the state of being undivided, unified. So integrity has two meanings. Belie, contradict, disappoint. He belied the expectations of his parents, disappoint. So belie means contradict, misrepresent or disappoint. Preposterous, laughable, ridiculous, ludicrous. Contentious means that something that causes quarrels. Polemical is a synonym. Polemical. Polemics means statements that cause fights, quarrels. Contend means to claim. Contentious means something that causes a fight. Controversial. Platitudinous, something so commonplace, everyone knows it, it's a truism, lacking anything imaginative, very flat. Essay means to test, or essay means to attempt, to essay a shot to the covers. Buck the trend. Buck means to resist. To buck means to resist. Bucking the trend means everyone is doing that, but this is resisting. not doing that. So bucking the trend. Surfeit means excess. Surfeit is synonymous with redundant, superfluous. So the next word is elliptical. Now elliptical can mean many things. Elliptical means something that is deliberately left out, deliberate obscurity, or suggesting much more than what is actually said. As you know, ellipsis means 3 dots with which you indicate that actually something more is being said. So this word elliptical can mean extreme economy of speech. It can mean deliberate obscurity. And of course elliptical trainers are there in a gym. Ellipticals move in a smooth oval motion like riding a bike standing up, and offer lovely great features like your treadmill, right? Elliptical trainers. So elliptical means something that is left out, something deliberately left out. So now we move on to the next word, jaded. Jaded means cynical. Jaded means actually loss of interest. So jaded means loss of interest due to overexposure. You are tired and bored after doing the same thing for a very long time without a break. Then you are jaded, sort of. People become cynical when they become jaded. Cynic is one who doesn't trust or doesn't respect anybody. So the opposite of jaded is fresh. So synonyms of jaded can be blasé, B-L-A-S-E, blasé, right? A blasé expression, loss of interest. Cloyed, C-L-O-Y-E-D. Cloyed means loss of interest due to overexposure or loss of interest due to excessive sweetness. So jaded, blasé and cloyed are very important words you must remember. Denuded, something that has been stripped of all the trees, a denuded landscape. Cavalier, arrogant. Streamline. Streamlining means to process in such a way that is very smooth and flowing smoothly into the next stage. Objectivity. Now on this word there are several GRE AVA issue prompts, that means topic. Objectivity means factual, based on fact, not showing any bias, no favoritism, not showing any partiality. So detached, disinterested. Disinterested means impartial. Remember, disinterested does not mean not interested. That was the archaic meaning of the word. Today the word disinterested is another GRE favorite, which actually means impartial. So objectivity, factual. Subjectivity, based on feelings. Subjectivity means based on feelings. So here objectivity, like I already mentioned, there are lots of GRE issue prompts. For example, one goes like this. There's no such thing as objective observation. All observation is subjective. It is always guided by our passions and desires. So the same wording may not appear, but this is what it is. So you will have to decide, is all observation subjective? Is there no such thing as objective observation? Well, I think you see, a scientist has to develop the capacity for objective observation. Science cannot progress if you are subjective. I think everything about science will be objective, and a scientist has to objectively observe. And if he stops objectivity, if he becomes subjective, then he ceases to be a scientist. He might then become an artist. So I told you whatever is essential. So we go to the next one. Preclude, prevent. Preclude means prevent. Apogee, highest point. Rationalize is a negative word, by the way. Please concentrate. Rational is a positive word. Rational means logical. Rationality, noun, logical, reasonable. Rationale. What is the rationale in your argument? R-A-T-I-O-N-A-L-E. Rationale means the logical basis. But rationalize is a negative word. Rationalize means to try to justify something that is not rational. Something, people do all kinds of things, stupid things and criminal activities, and then they try to justify on the grounds that, well, this is how it is, and therefore, since they are doing it, I am doing it. This is a justification. Somebody is committing a crime and getting away does not entitle you to do the same. And you try to justify on those grounds, that's called rationalization. Okay, exasperate means to irritate, annoy. Incendiary, literally in noun form it means a bomb. Incendiary implied adjective, it means provocative speeches which can cause riots, riot. So let's look at the next line. Purview is the word I see. Purview, within the purview, scope, jurisdiction. Next word, surmise. Surmise means to guess, conjecture, guess. So let's go straight down. Mimetic. Mimetic means copying, imitating. Mimetic means copying or imitating. Forswear, give up on oath. Forswear means give up on oath. It can also mean swearing falsely in a court of law. Perjury. Perjury. So forswear is an interesting word. Two meanings. Forswear, to give up on oath, or commit perjury. Perjury, swearing falsely under oath. That means you go to the court lo kelli abaddhalu cheppadam. Tendentious means biased. A tendentious critic, that means showing partiality. Critics are supposed to be objective, but unfortunately many critics, political critics, religious critics are there, cultural critics, art critics, they are all partial, that is tendentious. Why am I talking about this in a little detail? Because there are so many GRE topics. Coalesce is the next word. Come together, unite, become one. Nebulous, very vague, unclear, fuzzy. Nondescript is a synonym. Ominous, indicating disaster, not a good sign. Omen is a neutral word. Omen means a sign, an indication. A herald, harbinger, a token. But ominous is a negative word. Elucidate means to simplify. Simplify and explain in detail. Plucky, courageous, very brave. Peremptory, dominating. Peremptory presence. Peremptory means dominating, authoritative. Nimble means very flexible, supple, athletic. Now let's go straight up. Mendacity, untruthful. The opposite of mendacity is veracity. Veracity. Veracity means truthful, veracious, verily, verity, veracity. All these words, ver means truth. But the exception is verdant. Verdant means greenery. Verdant valleys of Ooty. Mendacity means habitually lying. మెన్ సిటీలో డాష్ కొట్టి నేను డాష్ కొట్టలేదు అంటారు, అబద్ధాలు చెప్తారు. मेंडासिटी मतलब झूठ बोलना. मेन डैश करते हैं, डैश कर देते हैं आपके गाड़ी को सिटी में और बोलते हैं कि मैंने नहीं किया, ये झूठ बोलना. मेंडासिटी का मतलब है झूठ बोलना, हैबिचुअली लाइंग. Qualify means to impose conditions. Qualify means to impose conditions. Unqualified means unconditional, categorical. Categorical means absolute and unconditional. A qualified apology. If you say, since you are saying sorry, I am also saying sorry. I want an unqualified apology. Unqualified means unconditional. Waggish. Waggish means humorous, mischievously humorous. Stupefaction, state of being stunned, very stunned, surprised. Enormity, it can mean huge, but more commonly it is used to mean a massive crime, a huge crime. The word beside that to the right is obloquy. Obloquy means public disgrace, stigma, shame. Obloquy is public disgrace. Uncontrived means natural, contrived means artificial. Flouting the rules, violating. Somber, the word on the right side, very gloomy, sullen, melancholy, sad. The opposite is blithe and cheerful and roseate and optimistic. Fractious, irritable, quarrelsome, unruly, difficult to control. So fractious means irritable, quarrelsome and very unruly, difficult to control. Okay, the word archetypal, I have written it in black because it's very important. The archetype of genius is Einstein. That means he is the best, perfect specimen. Perfect example of genius is Einstein, the archetype of genius. Archetype also in psychology, it means a universally recurring theme. Motif means a theme. That means the archetype of father, son, mother, God, friend. These are all archetypes which are embedded in the universal psyche. Psyche means the mind. Elusive is the next word you see. Elusive means difficult to catch or capture. It can also be used to mean something which is very difficult to understand. And the theory of relativity, very elusive. Chaos theory is a very elusive theory to understand, or you can string theory is very elusive. Quantum mechanics, the concepts are very elusive, difficult to understand. Opportune means timely, seasonable. Opportune moment means very timely. Sanctimonious, hypocritical piety. That means a person who is pretending to be very religious and holy, but actually he is a crook. That is sanctimonious, putting up a show of piety, hypocritical piety. Tendentious is biased. I think we finished. Nebulous means very vague. Now we'll go to the right side. We have hedged. Let's look at that word. Hedge means to avoid risk, to hedge. Taken as a noun, it means a fence. Hedge funds are there. Hedging means to avoid risk. When you are investing in the stock market, if you invest only on one, then there is a high risk. So you will spread your risk thin by investing on different shares. That is called hedging, avoiding risk. Slighted, feeling insulted. Slight means an insult. Certitude, a feeling of certainty. Explicit, clearly stated in words. It can also mean specifically meant for a particular purpose. Express. Express instructions are explicit. That means please stand up, clearly stated in words. This pen is explicitly for use on a whiteboard. That means expressly. That means specifically, particularly. Collegiality. That means cooperative and very, that is what colleagues are expected to do. That means the cooperative relationship of colleagues, companionship and cooperation. That's called collegiality. Founder, sink. Founder means to sink. There's another word which comes close. Flounder. F-L-O-U-N-D-R. Flounder. Struggling helplessly. If somebody doesn't know how to swim, then if you push him into water, he'll flounder. If you're not good at public speaking, then if you are pushed onto stage, then stage fright will make you flounder. That means struggling helplessly, doesn't know how to cope with the situation. So founder is sinking. The Titanic founder sunk. Subversive, secretly causing damage. Intellectual subversion is what our historians have done. That means fake history we have been taught in school. In India, negationism is being followed. Negationism means denying our own history. And subversion, intellectual subversion. That means fake history, glorifying the invaders, glorifying the criminals in history. This is subversive, secretly causing damage, like a virus. Virus, a virus conducts all kinds of subversive activity, like the neck shells are there, Naxalism. Subversive, like a sleeper cell, like a terrorist who is secretly damaging everything. That is subversive. Jai Shri Ram, I am Krupashankar signing off. I hope, though I was very fast, I hope this will be very useful for every GRE student. These are some words which I think are very important. Good luck in your GRE test. Jai Shri Ram.